Greetings. Today we continue part 3 of accepting unjust suffering from 1 Peter chapter 2 verses 19 and 20. In 2 Corinthians 11 verses 22 through 27, we find a summary listing of the things that Paul was referencing in 2 Corinthians 12:10. We should note as we go that these are suffering for doing good things relative to the gospel. He says in 2 Corinthians 11:22, are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. Are they ministers of Christ? Parentheses, I speak as a fool. I am more. In labors more abundant, in stripes above measure, in prisons more frequent, in deaths oft. Of the Jews 5 times received I 40 stripes save one, or 39 stripes, the maximum allowed by the law. Thrice or 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. A day and a night. 24 to 36 hours I have been in the deep, in journeyings often, in perils of water, in perils of robbers, in perils of my own countrymen, in perils by the heathen, in perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren, in weariness and painfulness, in watchings often, in hunger and in thirst, in fastings often, in cold and nakedness. Now this me first generation wants to receive thanks for doing nothing, much less for doing what is expected of them. In Luke chapter 17, verses 7 through 10, we find a declaration that thanks and rewards are for what is done in excess of expectation. Luke 17:7, well, which of you, having a servant plowing or feeding cattle, will say unto him by and by, when he's come from the field, go and sit down to meat? And will not rather say unto him, make ready wherewith I may sup, and gird thyself, and serve me, till I have eaten and drunken, and afterward thou shalt eat and drink? Doth he thank that servant because he did the things that were commanded him? I trow, or I think not. So likewise, when ye shall have done all those things which are commanded you, say, we are unprofitable servants. We have done that which is our duty to do. See, true thanksgiving to God requires service above and beyond the stated requirements. Again, this passage indicates that rewards are for those who exceed the minimum standards. This fact will serve as the transition to the thought presented in 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 20, where we talk about the difference between deserved suffering and undeserved suffering. 1 Peter 2:20 literally says, for what kind of glory, renown, or reputation is it, if committing sins and being buffeted, you all shall patiently endure? So the idea is, if you and I only suffer patiently the punishment for when we have done wrong, then what kind of glory, renown, or reputation will that earn us? None. Some do not even do this. The second part of the verse says, but if doing benevolence and suffering, you all shall patiently endure this grace in the presence of God. Now this second half of the verse begins with a contrasting conjunction, but. And it tells us God is taking note and will reward those who do benevolence, that is, good things, and patiently endure suffering for doing those good things, compared to suffering for doing evil things.